Hello, everyone. Can anybody hear me? We are live, we are live, we are live. Welcome, everyone. Great to have you. Um, Hi, Oluwole. Thank you for joining. Please, if you can hear me, I just want to be sure you can hear me. Can you just say yes? I just want to be sure that you can hear me. Please, if you can hear me, can anybody just signify and let me know that you can hear me? Oh, great. Yes. Yes. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Thank you, AY Folaxis. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining, Peter. Thank you for joining, Patrick. Wow. Thank you, sir. Shalakeri. Thank you. Yes, loud and clear. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Hayokule. Thank you for joining. Thank you everyone for joining in very early. Thank you. I can see Bolanle. It's nice to have us join in. Today promises to be exceptional. We have fantastic persons that we are bringing on board. And hello, good afternoon, Bolanle. Good afternoon. Thank you. We have fantastic analysts, business analysts, and a digital analyst that we are bringing on board, and it promises to be an exciting time. All right, so we have Kadiri Angela. Kadiri Angela, it's nice to have you join this live webinar. So our guest will be joining any moment from now, but obviously, just like you saw on the flyer, is a webinar. And this webinar, basically, we're going to be talking about, hi, Onyi Adenike, it's good to have you join. Blessing Baby, it's good to have you join. Welcome. Pierre Darling, it's good to have you join. All right, so we have two speakers. All right, Pierre Darling, thank you. But the speakers, please, once Blessing, who is one of our speakers, and Folayan is around, please just send an invite, and I'm going to accept your request, to bring you up for the live webinar. All right. So we have two fantastic analysts, tech gurus. Blessing is she works in Dubai, and we have Folayan who works, as a data analyst in Canada. Two of them are going to be sharing with us, beautiful things about what they have for us today. Thank you. So I'll be bringing them up now, and it promises to be a very fantastic one. All right. Okay. Okay. Fantastic. I think I have trying to join this. So we're gonna just be talking about transitioning into tech. Okay, great. Oh, okay. Blessing, please. I think you can send the request again. I don't know, but I knew you were trying to join. Perhaps the network. Please, you can send the request again. Okay, Folayan is saying unable to join. Perhaps I should just try to add you for me. Welcome, everyone. Femi, it's good to have you. Great. Folayan is on board. Great to have you, Folayan.
Hi. Thank you.
Hi.
Nice.
Thank you. All right. So fantastic. A lot of people are excited, about this, and I'm certain that great value is going to be shared this afternoon. We're waiting for Blessing. Yeah, Blessing she's joining all the way from Dubai, and it promises to be a very fantastic one. Folayan, how is Canada today?
Yep, it's winter, so yeah, it's cold, but we're keeping warm. I mean, great to join and at least share from the little experience that I've had as a data analyst, and I'm also looking to learn as well.
Oh, beautiful. I mean, you're already looking like Canadians anyway. I don't know if that English is correct, but I know you're in Nigeria, but you're not looking like us anyway. I mean,
Oh, thank God. That's all out.
okay, all right. So that's a fast one, and that's a smart one anyway. All right, Folayan is on. Okay, I think Blessing is trying to join. Um, so Blessing, please um, try to send a request again so that I can accept you in. But while we wait for Blessing to join, Folayan, we're just gonna start. So a lot of people are excited and they want to learn. I mean, this webinar has in the past, been a source of value exchange, and quite a number of persons are transitioning into tech. A lot of people are understanding that, hey, tech is the new oil money. How do I move into this tech? Oh, I've been hearing things like data analyst, I've been hearing things like business analyst, I've been hearing all sorts of names, Scrum Master, product owner, and the likes. I mean, how do I position myself into any of these niches? And that is why we are putting this up to help people, to educate people, to create awareness, and to help people have a seamless transition into tech. So, Falayo, just tell us a background about it. Tell us how you transition into tech. Just tell us, introduce yourself and let's meet you.
Okay. So hi everyone. Nice to meet everyone on this webinar, and it's good to be here. So firstly, Ayodeji, that's my first name, and I kind of have an engineering background. I've studied aggregate engineering in Futa, back there in Nigeria, and I'm pretty much passionate about data. And back in the days, about around 5 years ago, when I basically used to use Excel files just to understand what's happening in data. And over the last 5 years, I've kind of worked with different kind of data to kind of understand the trends, the pattern in the data, and ultimately, the goal of data analysis is to drive decision making. And over the past 5 years, I've kind of drive decision making, typically using data. So in my current role, I kind of work as a senior data analyst, where I kind of lead the team, and where we do end-to-end analytics, from obtaining raw data, processing the raw data, and transforming it into the data warehouse, and then driving decision making. So I would say I'm kind of like an end-to-end data guy, down to the business intelligence side of data, basically.
I mean,
That's about myself.
well, I mean, for Lion, that is brilliant. That is beautiful. But you briefly mentioned that you used to be, maybe 5 years ago, you just have this idea about Excel. So what pushed you? What was that turning point? I mean, a lot of people are here that, really want to know this. Just tell us, what was that turning point? What was that interest? I knew you studied in Nigeria. A lot of people studied in Nigeria. They want to be in Canada like you, doing end to end. So tell us, Folayo.
Yeah, so basically, I kind of saw a need and I saw the opportunity. Basically, I've been somebody that pretty much like to be in front of my computer, but it's not just about that. I saw the opportunity where I worked, and we kind of had data, but we weren't kind of using that data to understand what was happening, because we were making some sales, we were doing certain things, we were producing and selling, but we had the data, but because it was with the government, so we weren't really using the data. So all I just started doing was started using Excel, just create pivot tables, just try to show us where are we making sales more, where are we not making sales, what can we do better. And that's just basically the foray. And I always say everybody is a data analyst, because everybody kind of you check your mobile app, you check your banking app, you analyze what you spend in a month, you plan your budget. So anybody could,
Wow.
munch data, um, break data. So it's an interesting world, and I saw the opportunity, and I just literally just said, okay, I could learn better. And from Excel, I graduated into Power BI, I graduated into Excel, and yeah, we're where we are today. So it's
Wow.
starting.
Wow. I mean, a lot of lessons already been picked, for Lion, from what you're saying. I mean, you saw the opportunity, you gave him the work, and today is paying off. I mean, that is fantastic. Thank you for sharing your background with us. So I know that Blessing has been trying to join. I've seen her try to join several times. I think, I don't know, perhaps the network or something. Blessing, I'm certain that you will still be able to join us. But before Blessing joins, Folayan, I think we need to kick it in now. So as a data analyst, Folayan, as a data analyst, tell us in your own perspective, what is digital transformation and how prepared should people interested in being a data analyst be? How positioned or how prepared should they be? But to you, first of all, to your perspective, what is digital transformation as a data analyst?
Yeah, it's quite a wide question. So I'll start with basically, I would say, what is digital transformation? And from my understanding of digital transformation, it's just integrating digital technology into how we operate as a business. And ultimately, when we integrate digital technology into our business, it kind of changes the way we operate, and it kind of changes the way we can make profits and work. Now, I'm bringing it home as a data person because I'm a data guy. Bringing it home, I would say digital transformation in the data analytics perspective is just involving leveraging data in different forms, leveraging data in new and innovative ways to kind of make data driven decisions and kind of create value from the data. How should people be prepared? I mean, the data, or what was the second part of your question? You said, how should people be
Yeah,
interested?
yeah, people interested in becoming a data analyst, how prepared should they be looking at the transformation that is happening in the digital world?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, I mean, everybody is a data analyst to a little extent, because literally everybody is able to look at the little data you generate, maybe from your bank or from even your budgets and all that.
Right?
So I would say just it's a world of it's a very open world where you just have to be open to learning. You have to be able to embrace change, because it's pretty much a fast paced world, and that's with every tech field, to be honest. It's really fast paced. Technologies are rolling out every day. But moving away from technology, I would say your communication skills is really important. And I think that's one thing that I've honed over the last couple of years, because in the world that I am in right now, it's more of communication. It's not just about carrying the data and going and chunking it and creating dashboards and creating BI analytics. It's more of how do you communicate with the stakeholders? How do you talk with them? How do you get their ideas? How do you get what they want? How do you understand the requirement? So I would say communication is really important, and being able to adapt to change and embracing new technology. So yeah, it's an interesting world, I would say.
Wow, it's an interesting word. And one of the things you said that is so catchy here is that everyone is a data analyst.
Yep.
I mean, Folayan, this is beautiful, and you're really making me fall in love with being a data analyst right now. And okay, let's see how it goes. But I think some persons are already asking some questions, Folayan.
Okay.
Perhaps permit me to run faster than my
Okay.
shadow on this. Patrick is asking, what does it mean to work on an end-to-end project? What does end-to-end mean? You stated that when you were telling us a bit about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, end to end is basically grabbing the raw data. And in some organizations, data analyst is even involved in the data collection. So, and in my role right now as a senior data analyst, I've tried to get myself involved in data collection. So I would say right from data collection, data cleansing, data cleaning, data manipulation, data transformation, and a lot of times we also deal with data storage and then analytics. So it's from like the beginning, from the scratch down to the end. A lot of the times, yeah, data analysts don't get involved in collection. So I would say obtaining the raw data, and obtaining raw data usually comes from different sources. You could have data from several CRM softwares. You could have it from Salesforce. You could have it from many of those CRMs, and then you have to integrate those. You have to clean it. You have to manipulate it, and then store it. Then before doing your analytics. So yeah, that's the end-to-end process of data analysis.
Wow. Patrick, I don't know if you've been able to get something, but this is deep. I mean, Folayan, what you're saying is deep, and you're saying it in just simple terms. I mean, this is a loaded guy we are having here. Please, people, can we just give him some love? Please, can I see those loves? Can I see those loves? This guy is sharing something massive here, and This is brilliant. Blessing, I know you're still trying to join. I'm trying to also accept you here. I don't know if there's a settings in your device that is not permitting you to join. Okay. Whoa, finally we are able to have Blessing join us. Come on, come
Hello.
on. The loves are coming. Hi, Blessing.
Hi.
Welcome.
How are you?
Yeah. How is Dubai this afternoon, Blessing?
Yeah, Dubai is cool.
I mean, I can feel that in your voice. All right,
Hi,
so
Folayan.
Hi,
Yeah.
how are you?
Yeah. Sorry. I apologies to everyone. I think UAE do accept Instagram live calls just like WhatsApp.
yeah.
You know. So I had to put on some VPN if I'm able to join now. Yeah. So apologies to everyone.
No issues. No issues. That is fine. And that's the beauty of technology. I mean, if you are not tech savvy, perhaps you might have not been able to do what you just did. And that's one of the beauty of what we are trying to show today. All right, so these are fantastic guys. Thank you for the brilliance. All right, Blessing, let's just, do you mind introducing yourself? Tell us about your background. How did you move into being a business analyst?
Hmm.
How did you
Okay.
transition? Yeah,
Yeah. So going straight to the point,
all right.
I read economics education while my undergraduate days. I also had a master's in adolescence and counseling, married adolescence and youth counseling. I moved to the
Oh,
UK and then there was a redirection.
hmm.
So that was how I transitioned anyway. So I
So UK
moved to the UK.
transitioned, UK inspired the transitioning.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful.
Because if I wanted to practice as a counseling psychologist, I have to get some certifications and start all over again, you know.
Hmm.
So I redirected myself.
All right, that's
So I took to the
fantastic.
IT.
Fantastic. All right. So okay. So Shalakeni is saying that now. Wow, this our Dubai government. You have to use. Well, Shalakeni, we are coming back to you, but we are tech people here and we bypass that. All right. So, Blessing, Folayan has
Okay.
been dropping some powerful nuggets before you came in. And I want you to also prove us right that the BA, because this is more like a BA versus a DA. This is a data analyst, this is a business analyst. So Folayan has been giving us some powerful insight and it's interesting already. And one of the things he said is that everyone is a data analyst. Well, to you, what do you think as a business analyst? So I'm going to be asking you, do you think everybody is a business analyst?
Actually, yes.
Whoa,
Everyone is
whoa.
a business analyst, but it's just
Hmm.
that there is no structure.
Wow.
Everyone is a business analyst, but there is no structure. We all plan, for example, ladies or women at home, they plan, okay, I want to prepare fried rice.
Hmm.
And then they start to analyze, okay, I need to first get to the market
Wow.
to buy all the necessary ingredients and everything.
Yeah.
And then I get home. It's going to take me 30 minutes to go to the market and do my shopping, return home, try to rest, catch my breath for 10 minutes. Okay, I'm going to start cooking by putting a pot on the fire with water. So that's planning, basically. But in the business analysis world or in the tech world, we have to
Yeah.
put structure to it,
Hmm.
actually. Yeah. So everybody's a business analyst. We just need to put structure to it and then you'll be called a professional, in the
Wow.
business analysis. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I'm really enjoying this with you now because you are making it so simple. And please, to all the viewers out there, this is a fantastic explanation of what it means to be a business analyst. And that is why we are happy to have Blessing here. Blessing took us to the kitchen and she just explained it to us on how you can be a business analyst with food. Thank you, Blessing, for that. So, second question to you, Blessing. I'm coming back to Folayan. But, Blessing,
Yeah.
how do you see the responsibilities of a business analyst evolving with the increasing emphasis on digital transformation within your organization? Obviously, every organization, there is digital transformation that is happening. But to you, where you work in Dubai, for example, how do you see the responsibility of a business analyst evolving?
Okay. So where I work currently is like in the educational sector. And when I joined the organization, I realized that they were developing a system. They
Okay.
actually want to move from the old system, something like a data migration, to move from the old system to the new system, which they are currently building. So it's an in-house development, basically. And so when I joined, I realized that they were used to the traditional, SDLC, basically.
Oh,
So when
okay.
I joined, I realized and knew that what they need was a little shaping to achieve this digital transformation,
Mm.
and also to ensure that to also add to their agile Scrum
Yeah.
knowledge. It would definitely help us in moving the project forward, because they were trying to to transform from the traditional way of doing things, and they're moving to the software, that's the SDLC, and to move it to the digital transformation. And so for me, my role kind of evolved, because I had to shape their digital transformation based on what they have known. I had to ensure that there was team collaboration.
Wow.
I had to ensure that Scrum ceremonies are introduced, so that it's going
Mm.
to, so that to help fasten the processes, to ensure flexibility in moving the company forward, or moving the project forward. And so ceremonies were introduced. When I mean ceremonies, I mean the Scrum
All right.
ceremonies, doing things the iterative way, like
Mm.
iteration sprints. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also we had, having these daily stand-ups. And this, I'll
Mm-hmm.
be calling all these terms, and I'll try to just
Yeah.
explain them.
And that's the
Yeah.
beauty.
So we had these daily
That's the
stand-ups
beauty.
for the
Yeah.
team.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was saying that's the beauty. The terms you are calling, I said that's the beauty. That's the beauty of being a business analyst. I mean, so please go on,
Yeah.
feel free.
So yeah, ceremonies like the stand-up, the refinement, the
Wow.
retrospective, the sprint review. We also had additional meetings where we had stakeholders together for alignment and for prioritization, of items on the roadmaps and all of that. So all these were introduced, and my role kind of evolved, because first, as I mentioned, shaping their digital transformation, also agile Scrum practices, also be like a strategic partner. When I mean strategic partner, making the business understand and align on the company's objectives, on the
Mm.
company's vision, on the company's goal. When I joined, there was nothing like a vision. There was nothing like a goal, and so it was as if the team was just there and just working without a
Wow.
vision. Yeah.
Wow.
So this was also aligned. So I kind of played a crucial role in building up the initiatives and improving the business outcomes
Mm.
of my company.
Mm.
As well, I was like a bridge between the stakeholders and then the team. So
Wow.
trying to leverage on the business needs, as well as the team's contribution. So bringing them together and moving the project forward. Yeah.
Mm. Blessing, this is very fantastic, practical life experience you just shared, because you really, kind of like summarize what it means to be a business analyst. A business analyst is someone that helps his employer to, make more profit, or, not just make more profit, but make your presence helps the business achieve its maximum goal. And that is what you just explained to us in a nutshell. Thank you very much for that practical explanation. But let me go to Folayan quickly. So, Folayan, just a question for you. What are some of the primary ways in which data analysts contributes to the success of digital transformation efforts? To you, what are some of the primary? You spoke about data the other time, from CRMs, from Salesforces, and the likes, how you just collect data and the like. Now, you talking as a data analyst, what are some of the primary ways in which you think data analysis contributes to the success of digital transformation efforts, just like Blessing has given us an example?
Yeah. So in my world of data analysis, I to kind of divide what we do into two. Like kind of,
Okay.
I would say we contribute in two ways. We're either improving profits or we're improving efficiency. And by improving efficiency, I'd say we're kind of saving costs. So, by analyzing kind of operational data and all that kind of data, production data or resource utilization data, we can kind of optimize processes and thereby reducing costs. That's a way we reduce costs. Save profits in its own, self-explanatory. Improve profits in itself is self-explanatory. We kind of look at the data, see where there are gaps, and try to optimize it to improve profit. So by looking at the data, we can tell you what has happened. So if I look at your data for the last 10 years, I could tell you, oh, this is what has happened. And looking at that data, I can say, oh, this is what has happened in certain regions. I can tell you this is what has happened in certain regions. And basically, I can tell you what has happened. I can also tell you why it happened. So from your data, I can look at it and say, okay, this is why this has happened. This is why you're not making sales in this region. This is why you're not making. And all this is the data. And we can forecast what will happen, not predict what will happen, because that's the data scientist role, but we could do a little bit of forecasting to say, okay, from your past data, this is what we think can happen in a few years' time. So I would say those are kind of how we've kind of improved decision making. And of course, data analysis is majorly about comparing. What have you done compared? What have you done compared to competitors? What have you done compared to other companies or other organizations in your field? So I would say, yeah, that's how the data analytics process improves profit or reduce
Very,
costs.
very fantastic. Explanation you've given, and this is, blowing up my head. I love the point you even gave here. That as a data analyst, you could be on your chair and table, see the data of somebody else's, and you can say, look, this is what is causing this. This is why this is not happening, and this is what we're talking about when it comes to digital transformation. And that is fantastic. Thank you very much, Folayan, for that. So, Blessing, I'm coming back to you now, and I want to ask, Blessing, what do you think are some of the hurdles or challenges that business analysts encounter when they are involved with digital transformation projects? You gave us a very fantastic example with yourself where you work. Perhaps you might want to give us some of the challenges you encounter. But generally, what are some of those challenges? What are some of those hurdles that you think business analysts encounter when it comes to digital transformation projects? And how can one, mitigate such challenges?
Okay. First, I want to mention that the role of a business analyst is
Okay.
has to do with requirements. That is, eliciting requirements from stakeholders, or getting it from the product owner, or from the stakeholders of the company, as the situation may be. In my own company, I really do not have a product owner, so we have
Okay.
stakeholders that we have in the organization anyway. So I'd like to mention that first, one of the challenges I faced was that stakeholders don't come with clear requirements. My role
Hmm.
is to get the requirements from them and try to break them down into business needs and business goals, and then pass it on to the development team to implement, and then it goes live, right? And so I'm trying to get requirements from the stakeholders, or the business, as we call them, and then they are not even sure of what they exactly want, and that is an issue. That's a problem there, right there. So we try to use some tools as a business analyst. We have the root cause analysis that we can use. We have the fishbone diagram that it's used at times to come up with flows, process flows, just to understand, to actually understand what they want, what they really want to see, what they want the team to actually work on. And so the problem there is that unclear requirements, unclear business needs. Now, how I was able to overcome that, I schedule workshops with all important stakeholders for that product. Of course, several workshops, and then I drive the meeting and with some mock-ups, or let's say wireframes, as the case may be, So in a way, when they see that, they see the mock-ups, they see the wireframes, it gives them a visual understanding of what I have come up with, and then they're able to add on to what, to those mock-ups. And what I mean by mock-up, for anybody joining here that does not understand mock-up, so it's just like a diagram depicting what, or just like a diagram depicting the idea or an idea of what the stakeholder or the business requires. For example, I want to brand a bottled water, and so I come up with a design, just a sketch, a rough sketch of what it can be. And so once the business see the diagram or the sketch, so they're able to say, okay, why not change the color to this? Why not make this, use this font, use this design? So in a way, it prompts them to then tell me what they exactly want. So that's the first one I would mention. Another one I would also mention is prioritization. Is as if, business will tell you, I want it now. I want this thing now. And then we as BAs, as business analysts, we can't do everything now because of our capacity, because of the resources, the team, the development team. And so we need to prioritize. And just like you do at, in your various homes, you maybe, let's talk about the chores. You need to, to launder the clothes. You need to maybe take the children to the park. So you then have to prioritize, okay, which one should I do first? And then the other one comes next. And so that is one of the struggles as well. And this is relatable because all business analysts would one time or the other have this issue of prioritization. And so what I did to overcome that is to come up with a functional roadmap. Now, the roadmap is just it depends on the technique you want to use, but I use just a 3-column, now, next, and then later. So we have all these features or epics as it may be. So epic is just like a big requirement. Then feature is like a little detailed breakdown of the epic. And then we have user stories, which is the detailed requirement from the feature. So we have epic, feature, and user stories. Now, for me, I deal from the feature because feature in itself is kind of big, so I don't want it to be too big like the epic. And so all these are placed outside of my 3 columns that I've created. And then I start to ask the business, okay, which one do you think you need now? And of course, they have to give me justifications why they need it. And so I put them in the now column, or those that needs to fall in the next column, and then those that needs to fall later. And that later means maybe later in the year. The now can be Q1, Q2 of a new year. And then the next can be Q3, or Q4, and then later can be, the next year. So that was the way I was able to tackle that aspect of stakeholders not be able to prioritize well. Yeah. So those are the major issues I think I've faced so far.
Those are deep examples you shared with us, Blessing. I mean, very practical, very, very practical. One of the challenges you spoke about that I love is that the stakeholder will come to you and say, look, I need everything now. And as a business analyst, I can't just give you everything now. I even have to prioritize. It's my culture, as a Scrum or Agile professional. But thank you so much for those challenges. And I believe people are learning. This is a very fantastic things that are being shared here. So we're going to go back to Folayan. Folayan, let me also ask you a similar question. As a data analyst, what are some of the common challenges that you have encountered? And while working for a digital transformation project, what are some of those challenges you've encountered, and how have you been able to, mitigate them?
Yeah. So I would say one of the biggest challenge of any data person is data quality. Data quality is the biggest problem. Data is just never clean. Data just never comes normally. You have a system recording data. Just always some issues that you just see no value somewhere. You see somebody, or even sometimes if the collection system involves humans, there's always human error. So that's usually the first and the main problem we data analysts face, where especially when you have organizations that have proper data governance structures, you're gonna have data that is not clean, or data that just doesn't come in the right form. So that's the first problem. I would say the second problem is especially when at the beginning phase of a project, is the right data available? Sometimes the data they have or the data that has been collected may not solve that specific problem based on the requirement. So I would say even when requirement and you look at the data, this doesn't match. So it's another problem of, do we even have the right? And obviously another problem is what kind of work is needed to get this data. So do we need to data collection systems, or are these data in different CRM softwares? Because sometimes, again, a lot of times, many of these companies, we use different CRM softwares, and you need to integrate data from different sources. So what kind of work is needed to get the data? A lot of the times, I can tell you, it's a lot of work. You have to have maybe somebody like a data engineer, or maybe sometimes, like in my role, we do part of the data engineering, right? My team does the data engineering, where we integrate the data from different sources and kind of like to bring it together into one warehouse and then make the analytics. And I would say the last problem that I would say is change management is the biggest problem. You get to an organization and they're just using Excel files. How do you tell them Power BI is better? Obviously, yeah, Excel is doing the job, and it's just difficult to kind of make them see the better picture or the bigger picture. So it's, how do I mitigate this? Make sure things are right. Of course, the UI as well is important. It's not just analyzing the data, but how do you present it? How do you make a story out of it? So UI of your dashboard or whatever you're presenting is also important. So I think those are some of the challenges we face. Yeah.
I think these are very, very wonderful. Our audience has been very informative. If you are still following us on this, let us know the way to very
So not sure where you're coming from.
okay, we can't hear you. Oh, you can't hear me?
I hear you, but there's a background noise. But looks like
Oh, really?
it's better now.
Oh, okay. I think it was complexities. Um, yes.
We can still hear the background noise.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. There's one more here. Let me. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Oluwale, I can see Oluwale is saying that the sound is poor. Can you hear me now? You can't. You don't know where this is coming from. You can hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you though.
I can hear you too.
Yep.
And there's no noise. Can
Yep.
you hear me? All right, great. Okay, thank you, Oluwalisa. I think, yeah, okay, yes. All right, so sorry about the sound. I really don't know if it came from the headset, so sorry about that. I think Blessing stepped out. Okay, better. All right, thank you, guys. Thank you, friends. Thank you. All right, so Folayan, I was just about asking Blessing a question before she stepped out, but I think she's joining. Okay, I think she's back. But while we wait for her to settle, permit me to ask you the next question, Folayan. That with the growing, okay, Blessing is back, but Folayan, let me ask you this question. Now, Folayan, you can bear witness. I mean, everybody knows this, that every day knowledge is. I think we still have a background noise. I don't know if it's from my end, but I think you can hear me. All right. So, I mean, everywhere, knowledge is increasing. All right, great. Knowledge is increasing every day, even in technology. Every moment, the knowledge is increasing. Now, with the growing pace or with the volume of complexity when it comes to data, now this is to Folayan, in this digital age, how do you approach data management and analysis to derive meaningful insights? Now, if I go to Google now and I type in a question, I want to collect some data. Obviously, I'm going to get thousands of replies. That's a whole lot of data. You understand what I'm saying better, Folayan. Now, how do you manage this complexity to still come out with a very meaningful insight? Just like what you said earlier, that coming out with a meaningful story, I mean, as a data analyst, in this complex and very available data.
Yeah. So I would say for any data analytics project to be useful, it must meet the end goal. It must meet what exactly do you want. So I think the first thing is what exactly do you want to do with data? What is your requirement? We've mentioned it a lot of times. The requirement is it's always the first step in most of every process. What do you want to use data for? There are a lot of things you can use it for. Do you want to use it to make better decisions? Do you want to use it to understand your customers? Do you even want to monetize the data? Or do you want to use it to automate your processes? So those are basically four different things you could use data for. So you need to, for certain projects or certain times, it's the first thing is to understand what exactly are we doing. So the moment you understand what exactly we're doing, that would determine what data management practices, what data collection, even what data governance, because there are certain types of data you're dealing with that, especially if you're working with finance, and it's the data governance is tight. You can't reveal certain things that you've learned. So I would say the data management practices depends on what exactly is the project, what exactly is the requirement, and then from there you can design whatever data collection, data management, or data governance practices that you want to use.
So what you are saying, if I get you, is look, I mean, irrespective of the complex data we have in this digital age, it doesn't matter. As long as I'm clear about my objectives, I can actually manage or get the insight I want to get.
Oh, not necessarily. You got the drill to a large extent. I would say the problem we have in this world now is because there's a lot of data, because a lot of every little software you have generates data for you. But is it really useful, or do you really need it at that point? So that's the biggest question. So a lot of times you get in a place where we have a lot of data, we have data in our warehouse, it's just a lot of data, and our warehouse is getting so filled up. And of course, these days we have cloud systems that we upload data to, and the company is paying so much money storing a lot of data that may never be useful. So that's why I always say, what is the requirement of this data? What do you need? So when you understand what you need, do you want to use it to understand your customers? So if that's your end goal, then okay, certain data or for certain areas you might not need to store it, or you might not even need to keep it. So I would say the end goal is the most important thing in any data analytics project. That would decide how you want to collect it, how you want to manage it. Certain data you don't really necessarily, for example, some data you don't really necessarily need to store it for more than 3 months, because it might not be useful to you for that long, because storage in itself has costs. So the data, the requirement is what matters.
So Femi, Folayan, I've heard you keep mentioning these requirements, this requirement, this requirement. Please, do you mind breaking this down? Please, maybe for just a few minutes.
Yeah, so requirement is just understanding the end goal. I mean, what questions do you want? What questions do you want to answer from this data? I can look at your data, I can chunk your data, I can analyze your data, but I may not answer the questions that you want to answer. I mean, doing it based on my knowledge. So, and that's what separates a bad data analyst from, I would say, a good data analyst. You have to look at what does the end user want, communicate, or I would say over communicate. That's what we do here. So you have to kind of understand what exactly does the end user want. And a lot of the times, in certain cases, they might not really know what they want, but communication, by the time you do all that back and forth, you are able to refine their requirements and understand it better. And they're not technically inclined, so, but I mean, communication is key.
Wow, thank you so much. That was very beautiful. That was fantastic. And I think I get your point now. I have come to now understand the approach that you are talking about. Look, if you want to get a beautiful insight, irrespective of the complexity of data we have in this digital age, you need to first of all have a clear understanding of the requirements. It will guide your approach. Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Thank you very much for that insight. So I'm coming back to our business analyst, Blessing. I have a question for you before you stepped out earlier. And the question is, now, just similar to the question I asked Folayan, that technology is advancing every day. For you, Blessing, because you said something very beautiful that I love when you were giving the case study of where you work. You said they were, close to where they needed to be, but they were not there. So when you got there as a business analyst, you moved them to that place they needed to be, in the case study you gave us. Now, you also agree with me that technology is increasing every day, is improving every day, there is advancement. How do you ensure, how do you ensure that your skill and knowledge remains relevant in the digital transformation landscape?
Okay, so the first thing I would say is understanding your team or understanding the people you work for. Know what they want, know what they value the most. You might deliver something and they don't see it valuable. Then that makes it. So I would say, just like Afolayan mentioned, that one can easily differentiate between a good business analyst from a bad one. If you are just using your own mentality or how you think things should be, and the business is not seeing it valuable to them, then to me you're not a good business analyst. So whatever you're doing must be relatable and valuable to the business or the stakeholders. That's one. Two, I would say reading. There are a lot of resources and materials everywhere on the internet or on YouTube. You can watch videos. If you have anything that is unclear to you or how you can deliver um, deliver to your business or to your stakeholders things that they will value the most, you can check online and then you'll be able to get answers to that. Also, collaboration is very important. You can collaborate with your team members, especially the developers. They are quite vast with the system. They might be able to answer one or two of your doubts or questions, in which you can then go forward to the business and then go clarify from them as well, or even challenge them as the case would be. Also, I would say effective communication with your stakeholders. There is a lot of technological advancements, as you have mentioned, and the business or stakeholders might not be as advanced as you are. So there comes the communication and the alignment with them. So you have to communicate with them. You need to align as well with them. Let them validate and approve whatever you want to do, and then you can go ahead. Also, I would say get certifications. I did about 2-3 certifications as well, to upgrade myself, to also know that yes, I'm a professional in my field. So getting certifications is also very important.
Wow, wow. Getting certifications is very important. And let me just pipe in through there what Blessing just said. One of the things we do in ATC, Advanced Training Council, is that we help you, we equip you with trainings that can, position you to get very good certification. So for people who are viewing, in case you are asking, all right, Dawson, you've been saying so much, Folayan, you've been saying so much, Blessing, you've been saying so much. I also want to be like you guys. I mean, I want to be like Blessing. I want to be like Folayan. Hey, ATC can give you that training. We can give you that guidance. We can give you that mentorship to position you so that you can take those certifications, just like Blessing and Folayan are done. All right, Blessing, again, I'm coming back to you. In your opinion, yeah, what are the skills or qualities that differentiates a business analyst in the realm of digital transformation? Or should I say, what are those skills or knowledge areas to you that you think differentiates a good business analyst that is, you know, that is moving with the pace from the bad business analyst who is not good? I mean, what are those skills you will see, or those qualities? You mentioned some, but we want to hear clearly.
Yeah, okay. So I mentioned communication earlier. So effective communication is very important. And when I say effective communication, as we all know, I say something to the other person says something back to me, and there's a third journey again of me saying something back to the person. So that's effective communication. It's a three-way thing, I think, if I'm correct. 1 to 2, 2 to 1, and then 1 to 2. So effective communication. We must always, as BAs, we ensure that we align with our business or stakeholders as they may be. Also, another skill that is very important is critical thinking, and that leads to good decision making. Now, when I mean critical thinking, when the business presents you a requirement, and requirement is basically, I need this business need. Now, you as a BA, you have to translate that business need into actionable terms, and then you break it down. They call it functional decomposition. So you break it down before it goes to the development team, and then it becomes a function or a feature for the users or customers to use. And so it requires critical thinking. You have to kind of shape the business thoughts and their ideas into words, and then into terms that the developers understand. So the BA is like a bridge between the business and the development team. You understand the business, and then you break it down into words and terms that the developers understand. And so it leads to good decision making, such that when that product is delivered to the business, they see value. If you deliver something that is not valuable, then all the effort of the team and even your own self is a waste. And so effective decision making or critical thinking that leads to good decision making is quite important. Also, the problem solving skill. You are there to solve problems. And how do you solve problems? It's just to translate the business needs into actionable insights or terms that will then be used for the good of the customers all around. Yeah. But another thing I will mention is good negotiation skill. At times you might need. Come again?
I said, as a business analyst. Analyst.
Yes. Wow. You must have strong negotiation skill. And why do I say that? Okay. You might meet with stakeholders that are very like, I don't want to use the word, let me use the word strong, but they can be adamant and say, this is what I want. And you see that this will not give you the required value, or this will not even meet the expectations of customers, but yet they are saying, this is what I want. 1, 2, they can be very high in rank with the company, and then you really don't have a say, But then as business analysts, you have to stand your ground. Let them understand why this would work, why this would not work. And that's where the tools comes in. That's where the process flows comes in. Let them see, map out the process, map out the journey. Let them see that if we go through this route, this is what we will get. And if we do this, this will be much valuable. So you need to have strong negotiation skill. Yes. So I'll stop there.
I mean, Blessing, this is so sweet. I mean, anybody who is just starting or who is taking training of a business analyst, if that person listens to you, I'm sure that person will fall in love with being a business analyst. I mean, you're saying them so sweet and it's so fantastic. Thank you for sharing that.
You're
So, Folayan, I'm
welcome.
just going to ask you one more question, and then we ask people to send in their questions. We take the questions and we wrap it for the day. So, Folayan, just one more question from my end to you is, what tools and technologies do you find most valuable for data analysis in this current digital transformation age?
Yeah. So tools is something that I generally I always say I don't really like to talk about it. The reason is because I always tell people understand how to solve problems, understand how to understand business requirements. I think it's way more important than tools. So because you could go to places and all they use is Microsoft Excel, all they use is Google Sheet,
Yeah.
and getting value out of their data. So in terms of tools, yes, we have tools today which we are learning, but I would say on learning how to understand requirements quickly, because it's not just knowing the requirement, but how to quickly translate requirements is way more important than the tools. But that being said, yes, some of the tools that we use basically, I would say, will be SQL, which is really important in kind of storing the data, and I would say Power BI, Tableau, which is visualization. And a lot of times, too, when the data is becoming big, we go into programming, which is a little more technical. And
Even as a
so,
data
yes,
analyst? Oh, wow.
yes,
Wow.
so some roles, yeah, and I'll say it's role dependent. So some roles may not require that. Yes, agreed. But I would say as a data analyst, if you really want to evolve, you still would want to go Python and also cloud technologies as well, the
Whoa.
AWS and so on.
Wow. Wow. I must say this is a very fantastic webinar. So much insights has been shared, and I'm certain that our viewers are learning so much. Please, viewers, this is time for you to ask your questions. If you have a question, please, you can drop it in the question icon, or you can drop it in the comment section, and I'm just going to pick it. But while we're waiting for questions from anyone that do have a question, Blessing, just want to make this, we want people to I know a lot of people are here that are saying, oh, okay, a data analyst or a business analyst. Personally, I've seen a lot of people ask me which one is better. So I don't know. Let me ask the professional. So I'm going to ask Folayan, I'm going to ask Blessing. Blessing, to you, which one is better, being a data analyst or being a business analyst? Meanwhile, let me just give you a summary, Joe. I have seen a professional that has said to me that, don't disturb yourself. Data analyst is equipped inside the business analyst. I say, oh, really? Okay. So I'm asking the professionals today. Blessing Folayan, who's going first? Which one do you think is better? So please, for viewers, send in your questions. If you have a question, you can drop it in the question icon or in the comment section, and I'm just going to pick it from there. So,
Okay, let me go first.
Okay.
Okay, so actually, data analysis and business analysis, I think they are two different things. They do different. It's I would say there are two different parts basically. Although they are both, in the IT section, but then there are two different things. For the business analyst, you basically elicit requirements from the business, and then it goes through the SDLC cycle, or the SDLC phase, and there is the planning, and then there is the development or the implementation, and then there's the testing, and then it goes live. So the major role of the business analyst, of course, we have the evolving part, but let's just say the major thing the business analyst do, meet with the stakeholders, get their requirements, and then you go back to the team. You do your work, and then go back to the team for development. I would say I prefer, subject to me now, I prefer the business analysis word. And why is that if you know you're not too good with calculations, or you're not too good with data, then business analysis could be your path, could be something you can do, basically, because you just have to understand English. and then be able to understand what the business wants. And then you're able to write it according to the way it is written, the way user stories are written, the way the acceptance criteria is written. And then you're able to refine with the team. And what is refinement? It's just for you to explain what you have gotten from the business to the team for them to develop. So I would say business analysis is quite also easy when it comes to switching career, quote unquote. What do I mean? You can come from any background, any background of course or whatever you've read in school, and you want to do the business analyst. You want to be a business analyst. You go through this training just like this ATC. They have qualified tutors. You come there, they teach you, you do your project for a month or two, and then you are launched out, to start to seek for job and everything. So the transition is quite, of course, there is sacrifice to pay. It's it will cost you something. Actually, you're crossing over a course that you've read for 5 years, 6 years, and then you want to cross over to another career that you need to just go do for like 6 months. So there's a sacrifice to pay, but then if you give it all it takes, I think the transition will be quite smooth. So that is what I think. I don't know what Afolayan thinks.
So,
But
Folayan, over to you
Yeah,
now. We have a question, but quickly, Folayan.
yeah. I
Yeah.
I would agree with you almost totally. I would say the data analyst is just a little bit more technical than the business analyst. I would say the business analyst, one of their most important skills is communicating, because they actually deal with clients. They actually deal with the business owners, which we don't deal with. I literally don't interface with business owners. So I interface with business analysts or project managers. So they are the ones that take the fire when we fail. So uh, that's
yes,
one
yes,
side
you
of
do.
yeah. So and I don't like having to interact with clients, to be honest. So I would say it boils down to what do you like, and what's your most important skill.
Yeah.
I prefer
So,
technical, so that's why I say for me it's a data analyst.
mm.
Wow.
Just to add one
Fantastic.
more thing, just
Okay.
to add one more thing, if you see yourself that you have that personality to interact with people, it's so easy for you. Maybe you're extroverted, you can easily relate to people no matter what, and you don't get offended easily. Then I think business analysis path is,
Yeah,
I would
Wow.
encourage that path for you. Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, so great, great. So I think business analyst is winning this time around, and we are data analysts are going technical. All right, okay, but we have quite some questions that are coming up. All right, one is from Polanyi, and she's saying, "Hi, Folayan, thank you for the beautiful time. You talked about monetizing data. Can you speak more on that, please, and possibly give an example?" So,
Yeah,
Folayan, this question.
yeah. So to quickly answer that, monetizing data is one field that is coming up now. For example, if you look maybe Facebook, for example, and YouTube, where you get targeted at, like for example, I'm in Canada here, and nobody is going to be advertising Hollandia yogurt to me here because it's a Nigerian product. So somehow, the data from YouTube, they know your location, they know things about you, and they're able to give you targeted ad. That's one. Two, I know people that actually I know someone that just have a company that just give people out phone numbers. Although yeah, you need to kind of get that certification. So maybe yeah, he has a retail store and they have this data, they have information about people, and they have their phone numbers. And the person obtained the necessary permissions and is able to sell out or give out phone numbers of people within certain regions to people. Of course, that's subject to certification.
Permission.
Certification.
Yeah,
Oh
approval.
yeah.
Yeah.
So those are ways where you could monetize your data.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think I understand that clearly. Thank you, Falayo, for that. Debbie Balande, I think you got that. Thank you for that question. All right, somebody else is also asking, Alta Falayo, and I believe he's a he, is saying, what are the certifications you personally consider valuable to successfully transition into the industry? So the industry we are talking about here. I think he's talking about the business analyst or data analyst, but the industry of tech. What certification? So I think there are different certifications. So I'm just going to let the two of you respond to that. So I think Blessing, I want to speak first. What certifications for a business analyst? What certifications do you think one can take to transition? And then Folayan can also talk to that.
Okay. I think the ones I did the Scrum product owner, I did the Scrum product owner, the Scrum master, that is Scrum master. I also did this there's one called IIBA. Yeah, so that's for the business analyst actually, and it's a pass or fail examination. Yes, and there's another one as well. That's the American version of this IIBA, if I'm correct. So there are a lot of certifications you can check online and then apply for whichever. But for the start, I would advise that you go with the Scrum exams, which is there's one for product owner, there's one for the Scrum master. Yeah, those two from Scrum. You could start with that. And then the other ones, IBA, I think is CBAP or something. So you can check online to get others.
All right. Thank you. Folayan, over to you.
Yeah, so for data analysis, there's really no standard certification where I would say you should take, because there's no certification you would say the certifications in data analysis are related to the tools. So what tools do you want to master and certify yourself in? So I would say for a data analyst, you look at SQL and you look at maybe Power BI or Tableau, depending on what your interests are. So I would say data analytics is more about the tools, because there are lots of tools in our world, and you want to just you want to hone your skills in one or two maximum. I'm not really gaming knowing all the tools and being myself. Not see, pick a tool, for example, Power BI. Pick it to like Power BI or pick Tableau or something, and just master it and then get certified in it, and yeah, the sky's the limit.
Oh, the sky is your limit. If you can just pick one of the niches and you master it. Thank you very much for that closing remark, Folayan. And Blessing, it's been a very fantastic time to rub minds with you and learn from you this afternoon. I'm certain that our viewers have learned so much. But then, just to put a knob on what we've said, like what Blessing was saying, that look, don't just go take a certification. You need to get the right process. Hi, friends. This is Advanced Training. ETC Advanced Training Consult. You can reach us anytime, any day. We have our emails out there. We have our phone numbers out there. You can check the profile of this Instagram page. Talk to us. We can guide you. We have a current cohort that is ongoing where we have a number of business analysts we are putting in shape before they take certification. So don't just go out there and take a certification. Some persons might say, oh, let me just go to YouTube and all of that. No, let's guide you properly. We've done this, and a lot of persons are reaping the testimonies now. All right, so this is where we'll be closing it for today. We believe you've gotten quite a number of insights. You've learned so much, but and thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Folayan. Thank you, Blessing. It's nice connecting.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.